that. I can resume in that environment where you want people who are very open, who are really good listeners, and aren't gonna, point everything back to themselves. It's not about you, especially when somebody's in creative.
Right.
They really can support them. And so, in that regard, I think I definitely agree with the things to avoid. But I wanted to share, as you kind of touched on it, with the new people, like why they are actually like valuable assets to really consider. Because when I first joined Miss Samaritan, Kristen kind of tapped me within, I would say maybe a year of joining, and I started working with the adult community. And the things that I tend to be good is like that are things like logistics and event planning and things of that nature. Samaritan, that was kind of my niche, and actually all the people that I met along the way are through that connection where I got plugged in right away. Which is
very good. People stay where they are connected. And so you're giving people opportunities to develop. And so see small groups as that. If it's a small group of 5 people, you're helping them to develop spiritually. If it's a person that's been here for about a year, but they seem to be a little consistent, they're trying to ask them some questions, they're part of a small group, they've got engaged, trust them a little bit. And they're going to be coaches to help develop them and make sure they ask questions. What ways can small group leaders training become more accessible? So even thinking here, what are some things that can be done in the future to help train other small group leaders that will not be a major strain on time? What do you all think about that? To make it more accessible?
It's video.
Video.
Everybody doesn't have to drive from work and rush. It's a press to get here. And everybody's time is valuable. So just finding the time when you could say upload it, put it on our website, have everybody go to the link and watch the different videos would be nice.
Very, very true. So, and even with this right now, if I was putting it, if I could find a way to link on social media, people could watch it, and even watch me sitting there right now, they can begin to ask questions. And they may be in Texas or in the living room trying to help their child with homework, but hey, I want to make sure I was part of the small group. Here's a question I have. And you can begin to respond. So those kind of things, making the use of technology is very, very helpful. And once you do it one time, that video is going to be there. It's recorded, it's on YouTube. Go back to it later on. And share it with the new group. Hey, watch this video. It could be a year old, but everybody else is already saying you can come up and speak. Yes.
The same way. It's a link out there. You just watch it at your leisure.
Yeah.
They don't actually do it at that particular moment.
Hi, everybody. Be seated. I don't want to interrupt the flow, but I've just been killing Periscope.
You own it. Real life right now.
Oh, really?
Real life right now.
That is so
funny.
Anyway, well, all is well. Well, pretty no. I'll have a go.
Okay, so now we can go to the next one. We're going to look at target. So we looked at, again, leadership, what to look for, how to attract them, different ways to make training accessible. So I wanted to make sure we understood ways to develop new leaders. So now let's look at target for small groups. Who are you trying to reach? Even for those who are small group leaders in here, think about your small group. Who are you trying to reach? Now, I work with churches a lot, even when it comes to marketing and things like that. Work with church leaders. And the first thing I ask is, okay, who's your target audience? And the response I get is what? Everybody. Everybody. Okay. Let's take this mirror. Chances are the person that speaks Mandarin, right, may not come. It's just not the target audience. The person that likes Christian contemporary music, CCM music, this rock Christian music, it may not be their niche. Doesn't mean that you don't love them. Doesn't mean that it's just, this is not the niche of people that we're looking for, right? People who are high on emphasis, just love high church, and may not be the niche. And so, who is your target audience when you think about your small group? Who's going to be sitting there? What do they look like? What do they work in? How old are they? Are they married? Are they single? Do they have children? Are their children involved in sports? What do you see when you think about your small group? And that matters. We'll look at go to the next one, questions to consider. If you can write this down, it helps you to begin to think about it. And we'll see, I'm going to show you a little graph in a minute. It's going to help us to understand a lot more. So before I can show you the graph, I want you to think about these questions and try as best you can to answer them. Who do you imagine being in your small group? I mean, paint the picture for us. Are they educated? Are they super educated? Are they, faking as if they're educated? That's fine, whatever they are. Are they, the young, the hipsters? Are they a little bit more mature and just like jazz? Or are they still into, what's that, 40 watts, whatever they're into? I mean, everything. The little dude with one eye.
One eye?
Little one? No! Boy has one eye, like seriously. Like,
It's some rapper.
anyway, whatever. So, hey, it worked. He doesn't try to cover it. But so, again, what's your audience? Who are you going after? Think about that. So, you can answer that. Who do you imagine being in your group? Who will avoid your group? Actually be able to verbalize it. Who do you think won't necessarily find their niche in your group? Who are you willing to leave out? That's hard, particularly as church folk, we just want to think of it. Who are you willing to leave out? In other words, understanding, okay, this is not the group for this kind of person, right? For example, there's rock climbing and all that kind of stuff. The lady who's on the rocker, on the use the walker, I love you, but this ain't the group for you. And so that's not meaning you're rejecting people, you're understanding the emotion or the method you're using as a group. You're understanding the purpose behind your group. All right? So we got those answers. Who do you imagine in your group? Who will naturally just avoid your group? And who are you willing to leave out? Got the answers? All right, go to the next. This is, in essence, a bit of a pyramid that helps us to understand groups, all right? Here we have everyone. That means just folk who just haven't walked by the church. Y'all had a concert, and I just came by. I don't go to nobody's church. I'm not really even interested in church. I just like their music. Those who are interested, let's go ahead. I've been in church for a while. Those who are seeking. I really want to know a little bit more about God. Those who are already believers. Those who are in church. I just moved from Denver, and I used to go to the church in South Florida. I found this church. Those who are growing. Those who have been in church for a while. I've been in Bible study. I'm taking notes. I'm maybe going to some Christian institute. I think I'm trying to learn a little bit more. Those who are on, I just can't get enough church. I'm in revival this week. I'm going here. There's also doing a concert release party movie there. Those who are on fire, and then those who are believers. All right. So picture this here. Everyone. So wide pool. Leaders are those who are on fire. Narrow pool. Got it? Go to the next slide. Now, this is where people show up at. Everyone comes to social gatherings because it's probably going to be food there. So they're going to just show up. Matter of fact, they may act, will there be food there? They will show up. Some people show up just for the fellowship. There's another group. So whether it's food or not, if I'm able to interact with some new people, I'm an outgoing kind of person, cool, I'll go there. If it's just the young adult kind of conference and we get to interact a little bit, I'll go there. Those who come there, you notice it narrows. Like Bible study. No. Social gatherers, I don't really do Bible study, and then I make up light Bible study. It's a little bit more narrow, right? Then moderate Bible study, we get a little bit more in depth. We're going to begin to fall off. Difficult Bible study, stretching experiences where I want you to now begin to actively do something and help you to understand a little bit more about the Holy Spirit. That you're going to stretch outside of your comfort zone. So now it begins to get a little bit more narrow. Now, the person who likes social gatherings and just comes for the fun may not be, and this may not be coming to your leadership training, right? So now, when you think about your target audience for your group, where would you say your group falls? Particularly with who you want to show up. For the next slide. So if you all can still see this, think about your own group. Think about your target, who do you want to show up, you wrote that, and now think about how you view yourself doing your group. Is it going to be an in-depth Bible study? If you're trying to have an in-depth Bible study and you want everybody to show up, it's not really balanced. You're not. You're just not. That means your Bible study isn't good. You got to understand who responds to something like an in-depth Bible study, right? If you're looking at doing the social gatherings and social outings, that's an easy on-ramp. And I may show up for that because you're not going to expect for me to be able to quote Psalm 23 to you. I don't know that at all. I didn't know it. You're just not going to reference John 3:16 and expect for me to know it. It's a social gathering. We're just hanging out. So it's a little different. All right? So look at your answers and think about your group. Do they match up? And if so, or if not, how do you adjust? Does anyone's group not match up with your expectations for your group? Yeah, sure. Take a minute. Think about your own thing. Let me get into why they doing that.
Yeah, I didn't want to actually
like 5 of them, James.
I was like, I thought James, I was surprised. I was we're not.
You know the rates for him right now? Blue pill has been Alright, so you don't have answers? We have answers. Did your group line up with your expectations? How you plan to do the group? Does it line up with your expectations for who's going to show up? You all are a little different because you know it, so you may not know who will show up. Oh.
We looked at seeking and stretching experiences.
Okay.
And just a little bit of fellowship because it's going to be discussion.
Right.
but it's not gonna be just, we're here, just fellowship, but
Okay. So, I mean, so even with that, you can understand that you're more here versus, I'm just getting everybody.
Right.
Okay. Got it? Someone else?
Well, I said that I think the range of people in our group are going to be from seeking to growing.
Okay.
Because one, it's a book. So like to want to actually really kind of be in a book group, you kind of have to want to read.
Okay. Can you go back one slide so we can get it? One more? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so seeking to growing.
Okay.
And I said that because one, it's a book group, so you kind of have to want to read.
Right.
Two, the nature of what we're reading is about setting boundaries, and to want to like do that in your life and really infuse those things into your relationship practices, like that's something that you have to want to take on.
Right. You want to grow. You want to develop more. Right. You're trying to get closer in essence to your relationship.
Right. And then also the book that we're actually using, third point, is it has a workbook that accompanies it. And so it's not just light work. There may be some heavy lifting where you really have to do some like chronicling of your relationships, like establishing patterns and things like that. So those are my three choices.
Okay. I want to say it's like it was a. We're about to have a second experience all of that like this.
Yeah, that's my experience.
Right. Does anyone else want to share about where your group fits with regard to what you expect and how you plan to do small groups?
Elder Monroe and I are doing the Your Best Life Now group. And so,
Joel Osteen. Based on
Joel
at least based on.
although we're using other.
I'm gonna say, yeah.
But we were saying that probably we would be between the same range, between the seeking and up to the growing, probably.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because there might be some people who are trying to discover their best life now that really haven't truly fully embraced their faith, as well as there might be people who are engaged and but want to pursue an active path of growth and something that we can offer in structured way in terms of discovering the best life.
Gotcha. What do you think about yours?
I think that we're going to go from interested to believers and growing because we are doing family matters. Kind of just feeling the pulse of the people. There's some people who's really not sure of what the class will offer. Okay? So I'm going to have some seekers, some that be interested, and then I know the believer will be there, so they will let it grow.
So when you say family matters, also when you think about your group, are you looking for people who already are in families?
Yes.
Family, children are married.
Right. So it's basically strengthening the family network.
Okay. Gotcha. Cool. Anyone else? Did I miss anyone? Oh, I thought she coming in just to hang out. Okay, cool. Okay, go.
Okay.
I thought she was coming in just to fellowship. Okay, good.
Well, I think that the person who will be attracted to my class.
That camera has messed up.
Those that are interested to seeking, to all my viewers that are believers. That's the target group. I don't think that because of the sensitive nature of the class, I don't think I'm going to see leaders. I don't think I'm going to see many people, period.
Okay. What's your
overcoming life controlling habits.
Okay, gotcha.
But on seriously, because this is the first time that class I think has been offered.
Okay.
I don't think it has. There's been no foundation of trust.
Gotcha.
There's been no word out there that says, I went to this class, and it was safe. And you see what I'm saying?
Definitely. But Go to the next slide for me real quick, please. So on fire is one, but even here more stretching, solely because even if it's not the Bible study kind of piece, I'm getting way out of my comfort zone to try something like this. And so you already know it's not going to be this huge pool of people. So you're not going to show up expecting 30 people to show up in the room. If 2 show up, you knew going in, this is what we're doing. And not only that, because it's stretching, that's probably better, because if it's 10 people, I wouldn't stretch. And so when you have the group, we understand that this is one to help people develop more as well. All right, any other questions? Cool, I had planned in here a 5-minute break. Maybe we can take, let's try 3 minutes, because I took a little break from the answer question. What do you think? What time are we in tonight? What are we at now? We're at
8:05.
What
time are we ending? It's supposed to be 8:30.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a 2-minute break. So just go down like 3 slides to get to 2. You'll see the 2-minute one. Yes, ma'am. Well, you can go already down. You'll do those circles. Keep going.
Okay, so there was only 9. Oh, yeah.
How you I'm playing that. Doing well. I'm doing well.
All right.
Hi to those who are watching live. We're taking a 2-minute break, and we'll be right back.
You have to have the camera down.
That's true.
You be homeless, so don't pay us. I was like, all your money. Oh, go ahead, no problem. You'll be $900,000.
I'm driving my car. I can listen on YouTube. You get up there too.
A friend of mine, Joseph A.C. Smith, had morning type comparison every morning, and it's like a 30-minute show, but he's like really live. He has like 400 or 500 people watching. No, did it move on already? Okay, cool. Let's go. I guess I'll do the drill. It's supposed to. Okay, so let's look now at the meeting flow. So it's a small group. People have come in. They have their refreshments. What's the meeting flow? So you'll notice I have up here 10 to 15 minutes before, you may want to do refreshments. Refreshments are helpful because at a lot of group functions, even if people aren't talking, they're going to walk around like a coat or something like that, and they're going to have something in their hands. It's almost like a defense mechanism as well. So that's a little bit. Light refreshments, even if it's just juice or lemonade or something like that for small groups, is very, very helpful. Unless you're meeting someone in public, they can go ahead, if there's a Panera Bread or something like that, they can get their own there. Then from there, 5 to 10 minutes of sharing. By that, you're giving people a time to transition, if you will. For example, if I just got off the metro, rushed to my car, picked my child up, dropped him back at home, and then came to my small group. I wanted to be here, but now I'm just like, give me a bit of a space just to share, to interact. So now I'm able, in essence, it's almost like I'm centering myself. I'm able to now calm down and be present here in a small group. All right, so you give a little time for sharing. So you got 10 to 15 minutes before it starts. There may be some refreshments available. Others may grab their refreshments as they come in. And then you have about 5 to 10 minutes of them just sharing. Hey, how you doing? Okay, hey, how's your son doing? How's your husband doing? That kind of thing. Just casual little talk. And you engage that for 5 to 10 minutes. But that's also a way for you to listen, to understand what's going on in your class. And it's also a way for you to begin to engage with it. It makes people feel welcome in the space as well. So if someone's new there, this time is an opportunity for them to get to share a little bit with people. The person they're sitting next to, they get to meet them, that kind of thing as well. All right? Then from there, you dive into your study. If you're doing a Bible study, or if you all are doing, you all are doing, I'm thinking about the activities group. What? The next one. Okay, you were over here last time, I think. I kept looking up for the activities group. So for that, you all may just dive into your activity. Once you shared whatever you prayed with one another, whatever your activity may be. Then you begin to dive into your Bible study, your curriculum, or to whatever lesson you all may be dealing with for Greek. All right. And then after you've had your Bible study lesson, even after you've done your activity, ask particular types of questions, right? So get to know you kind of questions. By that, I mean personable kind of, how do you apply a personable question to the lesson? So it helps us to get to know you, but then it helps people to break out of the shell and do a little bit of stretching, if you will. I'm being a little bit vulnerable here in the room. It doesn't have to be an in-depth question, but it helps them to break out of their shell a little bit. And then in doing that, that's a way to build trust in the small group community. For example, if I were to come in to any group of people in a meeting, and even if I'm leading the group, and I began to share a personal story about my own life, subconsciously it makes you feel free to also share yours. So in it, you may, as a small group leader, begin to answer the question first. So you're going to plan that kind of question. And so now it gives people freedom to say, okay, you know what, I'll share a little bit as well. All right. Then you want to ask a Bible-based question. So if you're doing a curriculum, you have to ask questions based on what the lesson was, very specific, to help you grow in their biblical understanding. And then a life application kind of question. All right. So how are you going to apply this in your personal life? If it's something with families or what have you, how can you see yourself begin to implement this in your family? Are you all already doing things like this? That kind of thing, I'm making it very, very applicable as well. So I've gotten to a small group. I have built trust in a small group because you asked me about me question. And then I've gotten a better understanding of the Bible. And now I know how to apply it in my life. Not only that, when I come back next week, I get to reflect and to share about how I apply it in my life. These are small ways to help people grow a little bit more. All right, then you may close with prayer. And then I also have here fellowship outing, one per semester, and group service project. By that, I mean, if you have a curriculum-based small group, you all don't come together and you go through, let's say your best life now, what have you. Once per semester, do something that's solely fellowship. So if I've always come in and we've always kind of get straight into the lesson, plan once per semester to do some sort of an outing. With it, and it could be the service project as well, just something where you all are fellowshipping together. This helps to strengthen the bonds where we're just laughing and kind of joking together. Now I'm really building serious relationships in the church as well. All right, next. Are there questions so far about that? I'm sorry, go back one more while I'm are there questions about, so this is just an idea. So it doesn't tell you exactly how you have to start, exactly what questions you're going to ask for your icebreakers. It just shows you a little bit of a flow. So you're going to come together, you're going to have some refreshments, you're going to give some time for people to center themselves. You're going to do your lesson, and then you're going to ask some questions. Questions about that? Okay. Next.
Oh, I'm sorry. So go back to the refreshment part. I found it helpful that initially in my small group, my wife and I, we did the first couple of refreshments, and thereafter we got everyone else engaged. We engaged the class. So I just want to make that a suggestion. If you're going to do refreshments, don't try to carry that burden yourself. Get everyone involved.
So this is another opportunity as well. I didn't really hint on this. So you've got leaders, but then you all may also want to consider having hosts, which means they simply host the small group. And you give them the opportunity to engage. They're not leading it. You're just, if it's in my living room, I host it and I make sure some refreshments, things like this are laid out. I'm playing my part. I don't have to lead it. I just provide space for it. So that's something else. So even if you have a host that's serving, everyone may go to their house, you may be the leader, but that takes some burden off, but it also engages others to, in essence, take a leadership role with the small group. I can't teach people, but y'all can come on by. I can be welcoming and inviting, no problem. So when you're doing your recruiting, you could also recruit people to do that. All right. So other questions about that? Good. How do these basic elements match up or differ with the views with other views of meeting flows? I guess you all don't know really question about that. For the meeting flow, go back one more time to that. What would you add or take away from the meeting flow? What would you add or take away?
Well, again, excuse me. I think the environment has to be conducive to what you're teaching or what you're attempting to share. With the small group that we had, one thing I was really conscious of not doing is to appear that I was the lecturer in the class and I knew it all. So we sat in one big circle and then we all were able to share and everyone felt comfortable. So I think the setting, how conducive the setting is, I am going to be a little challenged because my location has changed this year. But we're gonna make it work.
Okay.
But again, you know, so that I am not the one up with the lecturer and pointing and giving folks direction. I sat with the class and we just had conversation and it worked really well.
So room dynamics will also make a major difference. So for example, let's say in a brief one, sitting across for someone in any kind of counseling sort of session is actually going to keep their defenses up. But if you sit at an angle, those kind of things are going to make them be a little bit more open. So as you're leading and as you're developing, if you're sitting in circles, when a person comes in, they know subconsciously we're going to begin in dialogue. I'm not going to just be lectured to, but we're going to engage. It's an open space for me to ask questions or to give my suggestion. All right, yes.
I would say, I don't know, I guess it goes on here, but I think the other thing to pay attention to is managing the group dynamics in terms of having someone who may not even be doing it intentionally, but they just can't stop talking, you know, they don't give room for other people to share, or, you know, things like that.
Definitely. Actually, let's see if I have this in here. I think I have it coming up in a little bit. So how do you deal with the person who always asks a whole bunch of questions and like the other ones who always have a suggestion on everything? If you're talking about Eskimos, I used to be an Eskimo. Everything. It's like we go to the small group, I used to be an NFL player. I mean, I remember I played in the NFL, I was on there for a couple of days and this, that. You just want to fit everything. There are people like that in the small group, and so over time, you're going to develop ways to transition out of it. And so, okay, you're just going to keep going. So that's different group dynamics for your small group. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
So one of the things the small group leaders are being asked to do is collect the offering.
Okay.
So where would you envision that fitting into the ones that will not be? We have a different structure on Wednesday, but there are some groups that meet on Saturdays and Sundays. So when would be a good time to ask for that?
To be honest with you, that I don't know. That one's a little new for me. I would probably say, background, I'm going to say ain't most people there. So if you're trying to collect the most amounts of money, and you also may want to consider how you're going to do it. Is it going to be one where you develop a culture that when you leave, you may want to leave this kind of an offering that was going to aid in, you know, the refreshments or something like that? Then you develop a culture for it. Or if there's one person that's accountable for it, then they again may do it in the end. Hey, we're going to get ready to pray before we do. We ask everyone to is willing to contribute, maybe even before the prayer before out. So after I've gotten the application, I'm probably a little more willing to give. If you ain't taught me that yet, I'm going to give you my Baptist $2. All right. Okay. Any other questions?
There's some groups that may have their children just because of logistics to attend. So I think we all should be very conscious of how the children are involved. And so that generally they're not a distraction, they're usually really good. But it could be something that we may need to consider.
So again, this goes back to your target audience for your small group and how you're going to structure it. So for example, if you have a small group that's for adults only, when you're planning your small group, make sure you communicate that's for adults only. If you have a small group where it may be there's someone willing to watch the children, what have you, then you're able to share that it's an inviting space for children. So parents know what to expect, and others know what kind of group they're going to. So if it's a family group and you may want them to invite their kids, then I know it going in. If it's a group where we're going to be rock climbing in your house 8, it's not really the group for it. So that thing as long as you're sharing that up front, then you have those expectations met and plan for it. If you're a group that invites children, make sure you're planning for it as well, to how you're going to engage the children in the space. All right, cool. I have, let's do this. I'm going to give you the exercise after. We're going to go through this real quick. Go back to go down to leadership responsibilities. That way I can kind of get through this kind of quickly. All right, so prepare for leading the meeting. That's what we invite all leaders to do. Make sure when you show up, you're prepared. Attend training, which you all are doing. Track the needs of group members, not just the attendance, but the needs. So if you're going to flow information up, you're going to need to know what the needs are. Not only that, after a semester, you may notice the needs have adjusted, and that will help you to understand what a person is growing as well. So it may be something as simple as jotting down, hey, so-and-so needed me to pray with them because of this. But in the end, they're doing a lot better. They get back on their feet now, those kind of things. Communicate needs up, and we're going to look at the coach role in just a second to help you to understand that. Track weekly attendance. I shared with you all in part 1 that numbers matter. It helps you to understand even the percentage of people in the church. We talk about that 60% range or what have you is a good number, the saying that you're now on track for good momentum within small groups. Visit members in the hospital. This is helpful. We talked about the holy person myth. You don't have to be super duper pastor coming in. I'm just a concerned person that you're in my small group. I want to make sure you're doing well. All right. So now I'm going to share something on coaching roles. I want to try to share this, but I think it's going to be helpful for everyone. So I can get to this. All right. Let's see. So, what is a coach? A coach, that I shared before, is a person that kind of oversees small groups. And I want to kind of give you, I have a 20-page packet I actually put it online for you all to get it. So with coaches, we want to define what the win is. How do we know when we're doing well? So for one, coaches' roles are to pray for small group leaders daily, develop meaningful relationships with small group leaders. Oh, I do have it up there. Okay, I thought they have it up there. Okay, cool. Develop meaningful relationships with small group leaders. Equip and encourage the small group leaders. These are just some of the wins. And we can go down to what leaders should expect. So you help them to manage their expectations. So for example, if you are a coach and you've got 3 small group leaders that you're responsible for, then you let them know as a coach that I'm here for spiritual covering through prayer. I'm here to have a healthy, open relationship with you. In other words, if you have some concerns, something like that, I'm here to care for you and your small group, and you flow information up to me. So you help them to understand what to expect from the coach, but then you also show them what to expect for them. You expect them to be teachable. You expect them to have consistent communication. So let me know that the group meet or how many were in attendance. You want consistent communication. So this is what the coach does. Then the coach also builds relationships with the leaders, understanding the leader's spiritual journey. So if you've got that person who's been here a year and they may have a small group that's more inviting for everyone, but you begin to see them develop more. You want to begin to notice things like that, understand a little bit about their life and about their history. Then you want to lead leaders. We lead leaders by affirming their gifts. Hey, that was great. I love how you're doing this at your small group or whatever. I see tremendous development in you. I see you learning different capacities. So we want to affirm their gifts and abilities. Teach from experience. So by that, I mean, share with them what you have learned. This is how I attracted more people to my small group. This is how I got people to be more committed to the small group. This is how I found new leaders. All right, and then learn together. Begin to share and collaborate with them together. And then at least for us, we have this thing called Move One Step, which means we want to help people move one step further in their journey. I think I shared that last week. If a person is just part of everyone, they're coming for the fellowship, cool, no problem. One step may very well be for them to come to church on